Hello again, and welcome back for part 3 of the Emotional Mastery series. Today, I'm going to be giving you a very simple process to support you in your cultivation of emotional mastery. The purpose of this process is to help you drop out of your left brain and into your right brain, which is important for processing your emotions, your life, and coming into completion with what has happened in your life, because you are more able to understand the wider, greater, and more profound reasons behind everything from that right brain space. Remember that the left brain is there to translate and make things practical. But when the left brain runs the show, and we're constantly trying to analyze, what does this emotion mean? How am I supposed to be feeling? How do I fix this? We get stuck because we're not going to have access to all the information you need in order to actually heal from that emotion. The second thing to understand is that the emotional mastery process is all about learning to be fully in acceptance and surrender with what has happened in your life. When you are in a state of completion with everything, so that things are no longer traumatic for you because you no longer in defense of reality, we graduate from the idea that reality is not the way that it was supposed to be, dropping our judgment and living in the present moment without feeling like we need to resist what's happening. You can exist in the right brain where you are more aware, more cognizant, and can tap into your creative power. So in this process of getting you into a state of completion, you're going to be visualizing. And if you feel that you are not a good visualizer, know that practice is key. And when asked to visualize, you can maybe ask yourself, what would I expect that to look like? Or what does it feel like that would look like? Anything that works for you, but make sure that you practice. In this meditation, we're going to be introducing you to your inner sanctuary within your heart space, so you learn how to be in a state of emotional balance whenever you want. We're going to connect you with your observer self, the part of you that is experiencing this life, that can help take a little bit of a step back from everything that you're feeling and understand that the emotion you're feeling is not you, that you're not trapped in it or stuck in it. You can actually remove yourself from it and understand it. So this process is about introducing you to your safe space, introducing you to your observer self, and then acquainting you with how to see your emotion as something outside of yourself. So to get started, I invite you to find a comfortable space to be held in for the next few minutes. And whenever you're ready, drawing your eyes to a close if that feels nice. And then bringing your awareness to your breath, inviting you to become aware of the bodily sensations that may be arising as you draw the attention inward. Becoming aware, noticing if there's any stiffness or pain, numbness. Notice if there's any vibration or pulsating. Just noticing anything that you feel as you sit here now. And now I invite you to bring to mind your most common negative emotion. So the pain point that you tend to experience the most in your life. And tends to be triggered by a lot of different things. This can be anxiety, fear, grief, anger, resentment, sadness, feeling hopeless or helpless, lonely. Any of these emotions, just consider what that emotion is for you. Now, as you're sitting here and as you continue to breathe, I invite you to send your breath to your chest. So starting to bring your awareness to your heart space. And as you bring your awareness here, I invite you to notice if you can just sense your heart. If you can feel your heart beat underneath your chest. If you can't, that's totally fine. But again, just sending your awareness to this area of your body. Sending the breath to the heart, along with your awareness and your focus. And now I invite you to imagine as though you could stand inside your energetic heart space. So this being your center of love, your center of compassion, your center of grace, and most importantly, your center of safety. Your heart space being your inner sanctuary. So inviting you to imagine yourself standing inside your heart space as though it's a room. And inside this heart space room, you feel safe. You feel centered. You feel loved. You feel grounded. As you stand inside your heart space, I invite you to look around and notice everything there is to notice about this space. Notice what the floors are like. Notice what the walls look like. Notice the roof or lack of roof. Notice the colors that you see as you stand inside your heart space, your inner sanctuary. Notice the decorations or lack of decorations. Notice if there's furniture. Noticing if your heart space room is enclosed or if there's doors or windows. Noticing if there's any nature inside your heart space room. Any plants, any animals. And again, just noticing how relaxed, calm, and centered you feel as you stand inside this inner sanctuary. Inside your inner sanctuary. You may feel here just an air of complete safety that nothing can touch you while you are in this inner sanctuary. And in this inner sanctuary, you are in control of your environment. Noticing any sounds that you hear when you stand in your inner heart space, any music or rain or nature sounds, city sounds, anything that you hear. Noticing any smells in your inner sanctuary. Any beautiful fragrances that make you feel safe. And just take a moment to feel this inner sanctuary. And feeling and knowing that you have access to this inner sanctuary at all times. That this is your place. That nothing can go in and nothing can go out without your permission. And in this moment, I invite you to notice yourself as the experiencer of your inner sanctuary. Notice that you are not the heart space room itself, but you are observing the heart space room. That you are witnessing the heart space room. And that you are experiencing the heart space room. Notice that you are not the walls. You are not the fragrance. You are not the feeling. But you are experiencing the walls, the fragrance, the feeling. That you can draw yourself to the experience whenever you want. And now if you're ready, I invite you to call to mind that repetitive, negative emotion that we uncovered at the beginning of this session. And I invite you to conjure that emotion as you stand inside your heart space room. And I want you to notice first where you feel that emotion in your body. It may be in your chest, in your throat, in your belly, in your hands, your limbs, wherever you feel it. Just notice where you're feeling this emotion. And now notice what it feels like. Give it a few descriptive words. Heavy, light, dark, any descriptive words that describe how this emotion feels inside your body. And now as you remain connected to this feeling, I invite you to watch as this emotion materializes itself as an object in front of you, in your heart space room. So watch as you see this emotion materialize in front of you, and just allow it to be whatever it is. It can be a bowl, it can be electricity, it can be a brick, a color, a person, an environment, whatever you see is right. So just allow yourself to take a look at this emotion as a personified object. And again, just noticing. And now, because this is your heart space room, I invite you to wrap your emotion object in a bubble. So the emotion is now wrapped in a bubble, and there's some space between you and the emotion. So you may still feel it, you're still experiencing it, but there's a membrane now between you and the emotion. So now watching if this emotion is static or if it's moving. Noticing the color, the shape, the size, if it's making a sound. Noticing all there is to notice about it as it's wrapped in this membrane, this bubble. And again, notice that you are the witnesser, the observer of this emotion. Feel yourself as separate from your negative emotion. The object is there, but it's outside of you. And now notice that even if the object remains, you can shift your focus to your heart space room. So re-shifting your focus to noticing your heart space room, what it sounds like, what it smells like, what it looks like. Experiencing that peace, even with the emotion present. And now you can stay here as long as you like. Whenever you're ready to come out, thanking the emotion, thanking the room, thanking yourself, taking in a nice deep breath. And on the exhale, coming back, and allowing the windows of the eyes to gently flutter open. Beautiful work, my loves. So the invitation is to practice this meditation every time you feel your negative emotion, or as much as possible. So here you come into awareness of your heart space, that inner sanctuary, that inner place of peace that you always have access to. You come into contact with your inner observer, the part of you that is experiencing your emotions, that is experiencing your reality, but is not your emotion, is not your reality. There is some space and distance, and you experience that. You can be with your negative emotion and also tune into your inner sanctuary at the same time. You could switch your focus and switch that you were feeling, what you were feeling based on what you were focusing on. So this process supports you in relaxing and releasing your resistance to your painful or difficult emotions, because you can feel that there's a separation between the two of you, that you are not your emotion and that you do not have to be enmeshed in it if you don't want to. That inner sanctuary is available to you at all times. So practice this again and again, bringing that heart space room feeling, that observer self, feeling into everything that arises. So every memory, every sensation, every thought, every emotion, even if you can't love the actual feeling itself in this moment, you can still love the one that is experiencing it. So do this until you feel you have some mastery with your emotional state. Practice until the intensity of your negative emotions become less overwhelming because you've stepped into that observer space, the space of the loving witness. Be curious about your difficulties, your suffering, and whatever you are experiencing, so it can actually communicate a message to you. Open yourself up to that right brain experience, to seeing and experiencing the negative emotion for all it has to offer you. And this is going to help you to come into completion with your life and whatever suffering you have experienced, my love. And this is how you can finally step into unconditionally loving presence. So that concludes part 3, but I want you to stay tuned because I have a surprise coming for you in this next bonus video. Yay! It's honestly the best part of this whole series. You don't want to miss this. So stay tuned. And in the meantime, I love you. Thank you for your exploration and for allowing me to share this with you. And I'll see you back here.